Good morning, viewers. Today I am present before you with the essay The Death of the Author by Roland Barthes. In today's podcast, I will be giving you a brief summary of this famous essay. Before I begin the podcast, it is advisable that you keep a notebook and a pen so that you can jot down the important points relating to this particular topic. It is further advisable to use earplugs for listening to the podcast. So here I begin. In the famous French story writer Henri de Balzac's story Sarrasine occurs a sentence. This woman herself, with her hidden fears, her irrational whims, her instinctive worries, her impetuous boldness, her fusings, and her delicious sensibility. The all-important question is, can we determine whose voice is speaking in the story? Is it author himself, or is it the hero? Is it wisdom that is shared by all humanity? Romantic philosophy? Is it author's different roles? One, an individual informed by his personal experience? Or is it the author taking up a definite stand on femininity? The answer to any of these questions can never be obtained, for the act of writing obliterates such a voice. It is an act of destruction. It is a negative and a neutral act which erases all identity. This is not a new thing. It has always been there. The moment a fact is narrated, the voice loses its origin. The beginning of writing spells the death of the author. How does it occur? The idea of the author as an individual is the result of the modern capitalistic society, a product of the French rationalism and English empiricism, which highlighted the prestige of individual. In older society, the author was anonymous. He was a narrator, a performer, who acted as a mediator, whose mastery over his art of narration was admired, but not his genius as an inventor. In modern sense of the author, a special responsibility is delegated on the person in whom literature and the author's personality are bridged. The author is at the center with all his personal life, experiences, and so on, while criticism amounts to nothing more than an explanation of his ideas, his life, his habits. It is as if the work lives through author, the voice of a single person, the author confiding in us. Once the author is removed, there occurs a radical change in the text. The author is seen as preceding the text, becoming its past, while the text is its present. But in modern view, he is the scripter and lives simultaneously with the text, is not its subject. If the text sometimes is seen as the predicate, every text is eternally here and now. The writing does not involve depiction in the classical parlance, but constitutes a rare verbal form, the act by which it is uttered. He has no room for improving, guiding, and revising what comes out of him. His hand traces the field which has no origin other than language itself. This language continuously questions all origin. The text is multidimensional and multivocal. It is not something that is made up of singles moving in progressive linear direction, releasing meaning. Rather, a text is a tissue of quotations, that come from countless centers of culture, at once sublime and comic. The writer or the scripter can never be original. He only imitates and mixes writings in a way that has no fixed sense. If at all we grant him the role of expressing himself, then too his work does not do more than translate what is inside him through other words. Thus, the scripture is empty of passions, human feelings, impressions. The text is a tissue of signs, and the signs go on evading any definite meaning. The author has only an immense dictionary within him from which he draws. By removing the author, we grant text an individuality and a freedom which was limited by him. By acknowledging the presence of the author, traditional criticism found its job easy, limited only to explaining the authorial reality which often merged with the text. The scripter who replaces the author, on the other hand, refuses to assign an ultimate meaning and liberate the anti-theological activity, that is, refuses to assign a fixed meaning to the text. Coming to the sentence of Balzac, there is no single person or a single voice. The multiple meanings can only be understood by the reader, as we see in ancient Greek tragedies where words with double meanings were deliberately used. The reader requires a privileged role. He is a space on which all the quotations that make up a writing are inscribed without any of them being lost. In this way, one can say that a text remains significant in its destination and not its origin. Again, the destination is a kind of plain field without passions and feelings. He is simply that someone who holds together in a single field all the traces by which the written text is constituted. It is necessary to bring the reader into focus because classical criticism has never paid any attention to the readers. In the new revolutionary reversal of roles, the reader has a far more active role than the writer. The latter simply does not exist. In this way, the birth of the reader spells the death of the author. So this was a brief summary of the famous essay by Roland Barthes, The Death of the Author. I hope this podcast proved to be of help to each one of you. Please mention your questions and observations in the comment section below. Please do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon for latest update. Thank you for your valuable time. Here's wishing you a great day ahead.